We're joined by a good friend of the show, Ben Watson, Saints tight end. You guys remember we had him on talking about some of his Facebook posts, the South Carolina flag issue and Ferguson and others. Ben, how's camp? I know you're an old man these days. You doing much at camp?
Tiki, how you doing, man? I'm doing well. Camp is winding down. A week left to go, and to be honest with you, I am very happy about that.
Yeah, no. At the end, it's hard when you're like in your 9th, 10th, 11th year. It's like, God, do I really got to go do this for another month and worry about the injury issues because these young kids are trying to make the team off of me? you know exactly what I'm talking about.
It's just a grind.
Yeah, it is a grind.
I know it's just a grind, but it's a necessary part of the process. I mean, this is my 12th year, and it's gone by so quickly, but every year you have things you can work on. Every year you have to get better, and every year, the team has to find out their identity, and that's what you find out in camp.
Yeah, no. Now we heard your quote from last month when we had you on talking about how everybody's there and everybody's invested, and this team is finding its identity. I'm interested though, is it a young identity or is it an older identity? Because when you look at the guys who are going to have to get it done, you and Drew and Marquise Colson, you guys are on the upper edge. Is there enough left from you old guys to get this done one more time?
Well, last year, Coach Payton, he likes to play, little pranks, but kind of send a message, and he kind of put these gas tanks everywhere in the locker room, and kind of asking the older guys how much gas you have left in the tank. And I think that this year we found that we have plenty of gas left in the tank for this year, but it is going to be a mixture. We obviously have some young players. And throughout an NFL season, there's going to be times where, younger players have to play more, older players have to play less, and vice versa. Obviously, the quarterback, Drew Brees, is a guy that has been a leader on this team for a long time. He's throwing the ball as well as I've seen him in my short career here with the Saints, and so we're really excited about that.
Yep, we're talking to Ben Watson, Saints tight end, who's a good friend of the show and just a great guy, has a great perspective on what goes on in the National Football League. Brandon Cooks, young, explosive star, is it his turn to ascend to the top of this team, become the leader as a skill position guy?
I really hope so. He is obviously very talented, but he's a guy that I'm really proud of off the field as well. Somebody who is a student of the game, but also in life, he has taken tremendous strides in the last. He's very mature, to only be 21 years old. So we spend a lot of time off the field just talking about life, man. And so it's really exciting for me to see him go out and make plays. He's very, very hungry. And as you know, as a young player, as a player in general, when you have that hunger and you mix that with talent, I think the sky's the limit for him, and he's going to have an opportunity to do a lot of great things in this offense. I mean, the offense is wide open and caters to a guy like with his talents. That's why he's here, obviously. The prayer and the thing that you can't always tell in football is when injuries come and go. But the hope is that he has one of those breakout years.
Yeah, we know the Saints are going to put up tons of yards. You guys do it every single year. Whether you're winning or losing, you're putting up tons of yards. The question this year, without Jimmy Graham, and I know this plays directly into you, how do you score?
Yeah.
How do you score when you get in the red zone? Because that's been the issue in the preseason.
Yeah, well, every year things change. Every year guys leave, and Jimmy is a player that is very unique. He's an elite tight end. In my opinion, he's one of the top one to three tight ends in the NFL for the last few years since he's been playing. And so you don't look to find a guy to be him. Those type of guys kind of fall in your lap, and that's what happened with Jimmy. He's a guy to play basketball, and oh my gosh, he's got this incredible talent.
Yep.
What we do want to do, however, is win football games. Number one, and we do that. We need to score. But there's other ways to score. We can throw the ball in the red zone. We can run the ball in the red zone. We have other guys. Every year, new guys come in, regardless of what team you're on. And so, scoring is not going to be the issue. What we really want to focus on, obviously, is being consistent. And last year, we weren't very consistent when it came to scoring often and scoring enough and winning football games.
Talking to Ben Watson, tight end for the Saints. C.J. Spiller comes over in the offseason. We haven't seen much of him because of injury. But last year, Mark Ingram, he jumped out, and it was like, wow, finally, we've been waiting for this guy to get it and figure it out, and he did. Now with C.J. Spiller there, what's this run game going to look like, or I should say backfield game going to look like for the Saints?
Hey, we're all waiting to see. We're all waiting to see, and we're all super excited. And CJ has been an explosive player for many years in this league. And I remember in the OTAs when he came, and even in the beginning of training camp before he had the injury, just seeing him take off and run. You know, some guys, kind of like you, Tiki,
Yep.
some guys can just take off, you know, and everybody looks and says, wow. And so I know that our offensive coordinator are chomping at the bit, you know, drawing up different things. I mean, you know, obviously we've always had kind of two backs that could carry the load. You know, whether it was Sproles and Pierre Thomas or Mark Ingram, you know, you even throw Kyrie Robinson into the mix, and all of them have different skills and different talents that can definitely contribute to you know, making it hard for a defense. I think that one of the keys is keeping the defense off balance, and that's what you do when you have multiple guys that can do different things.
Yeah, no, and one of the keys I think for any team is balance offensively and defensively. You guys were 7-9 last year, and your defense wasn't the worst in the league, but it was damn near close at 31st.
Yeah.
Is there ever a frustration when offensively you guys are doing so well and your defense just can't get it done? Because I know it exists in some places. How do you
Yeah.
prevent that?
Yeah, but personally, I've never, you know, that's a great question. I've never really felt the frustration, you know, being on a team that had a poor offense and a great defense, or vice versa,
Mm-hmm.
and being upset at the other side of the ball. I think I've always felt that, you know, if the defense is struggling, then we need to score more points. We will win if we score more than the opponent. That's, as an offensive player, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Defensively, if the offense isn't scoring, I would hope that my defense would say, you know what, the offense is struggling this year or this game, but they can't beat us if we don't let them score. And so there's never, you know, a finger pointing with me. There's never a you guys need to pull your weight sort of thing. I just feel like whatever side of the ball is doing well needs to just pick up the load and do better.
Yeah, you know, and I'm not going to let you off the hook here, Ben, and talking to Ben Watson, tight end for the New Orleans Saints, because I know that you're opinionated, and I know you'll give us the answer. Junior Gillette, it seemed like he was, I don't want to say the cancer, but it seemed like that was the example of not communicating, team, you know, throwing guys under the bus. I mean, how can you even explain that situation from last year?
You know, Junior Galette's a very talented player, and I got to know Junior a little bit, even though he's on the other side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy that obviously has some issues to work through. You know, the videos came out; they speak for themselves, and so you know, we don't condone any of the things that have come out, the things that he's been accused of. We don't condone any of those, but we love him as a person, as a player, and my hope for him is that he's able to work through those things and come out better on the other side. We all have issues from time to time. His obviously. Were pretty egregious at times, and that kind of filtered into the locker room, definitely. The coaches made a decision to remove him, and it's always a tough decision when you have to remove somebody that is kind of a cornerstone of your defense because of, you know, their contract and because of their performance. But the coaches made a decision that our team would be better without him being there. That doesn't mean that we don't still care about him, but what it does mean is that when you play in a team sport and you're a GM and you're a coach, you have to make those tough decisions.
Yeah, no, it's rare because you don't see it very often. Usually it gets dealt with, and because he's so good, right? A guy who's so good, you just kind of let it go and hope that it sorts itself out on the field. Is that a testament to Sean Payton? Is it ownership? Where did that decision come down from?
Well, one thing I learned very early in my career in this league in New England with Coach Belichick is that, hey, I'm going to make the best decisions for this football team. And so I think it's the same thing here. You're looking at an organization that has had some success. We obviously didn't play very well last year, but when you look over the course of the last 10 years, the New Orleans Saints have been, you know, one of the better teams when it comes to win-loss records. And so, in an effort to get back to that, I think that Coach Payton and Mickey Loomis and the owner, everybody together, made that decision that, you know what, we're going to do what we feel will give our team the best chance to win.
Yeah, no, that's the only way to play it, even if it is bad for your cap, because it took a hit off his cap with the contract you gave him. Talking to Ben Watson here. You look at the division, the Panthers, and I was shocked. Every time I hear this stat, I'm shocked that no team in the South has won a division 2 years in a row until the Panthers did it. It feels like it's wide open. Is that the stance that you guys have, that this is just an opportunity? Yeah, we played horrible last year, and you know there's young quarterbacks in the division, but this is an opportunity. Is that how you have to look at it?
You know, I don't even think we need to look at the division at all this year, right now. What we need to focus on is this last preseason game and then week one. I think that, when you start to think about the division, you start to think about the playoff picture when it's only September, when you start to think about all those things, you are way out of your league, and there's no reason to even think about those things, especially when you look at last year. I feel like we had tremendous talent last year, but we weren't able to put W's on the board. And so this year needs to be a very singular focus on each game, and those things will take care of itself. The division, it's funny you mentioned about the back-to-back. Yeah, that stat was crazy that there's never been a back-to-back winner, but, the Panthers deserved to win last year. They came here and they beat us down, late in the year. They were able to finish when nobody else could finish. And so, the hope for us this year is that we're able to look at each game one game at a time, literally, and deal with it and win each game, and then those things will take care of themselves.
Yeah, they're not there. Sean Payton's not talking about the quarters. You got to win the first quarter. September, win in September. Then you got to win in October.
Hey, we're trying to get to week one right now.
Week one is obviously at the Arizona Cardinals. Ben, I appreciate you joining us again today on Tiki and Tierney, CBS Sports Radio. You're a friend of the station, and I appreciate everything that you've provided, including your Facebook post and all the interesting commentary that you've put out there, which is fantastic. So thank you for joining us, Ben.
And Tiki, if you didn't know, I'm coming out with a book, man, in November.
Samter just told me this. Tell us about it. What is the book?
Well, the book is called Under Our Skin, and the book is going to be kind of it's really just about race. And, as you know, I've spoken a lot about race, and we all have our different experiences with race, but it's really going to be a book about encouraging us to be open and honest with dialogue.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're afraid to say certain things because we don't want to offend people, so we don't want to get hammered, so we don't say anything. And the book is really to encourage that open dialogue and understand that, hey, we have differences, we have issues, but the only way that we really address those issues is we can be open and honest with
them.
Yeah.
Ben,
and address them.
Ben, what is the context of the book? Is it you as an athlete, or is it just race in general?
It's a little bit of memoir, but it's also a little bit of manifesto. It's kind of what you see on Facebook, but also taking some instances from my life and the life of people in my family, like people close to me, maybe teammates and family members, that kind of illustrate different scenarios that all of us go through when it comes to dealing with race, when it comes to when we see these things on television, and we all have our certain biases immediately once we see it. How do we address those? How do we talk about those? How do we debunk some of those? Because some of them are really wrong, and we don't even know that they are. So the book is called Under Our Skin. And you can find out about it on my website, but also the website for the book is underourskinbook.com.
Yeah, I'll have
it's coming out November 17th. Man.
Yeah,
I'm really excited about it.
That's pretty cool. November 7th. Samter, tweet this out from our site, because I think it's I want to read this actually. Give me an advance copy, Ben.
We will make sure you get a copy.
We're talking to Ben Watson here, but real quickly before I let you go, I just saw your recent post on Planned Parenthood, which has been in the news lately, obviously because there's some calls for defunding it.
Yes.
Where does that come from for you? Is it personal?
Of course it's personal. Of course it's personal. Anytime we're talking about life, whether it's unborn life or life, that we're seeing, that I'm talking to you right now, life is life, and I really believe in the sanctity of life before babies even come out of the womb. Obviously, I'm a father of 5. We just had our 5th child.
Hey, congrats, man. Congratulations. I think we knew that. Congrats.
And so I really believe that how a country, how a society views life, it permeates throughout how we view everything else. And so we can't expect to treat each other correctly. We can't expect for things to go how we want them to be if we are on the side dealing with this atrocity of murdering these babies. And so, this whole thing with Planned Parenthood came out about them selling the parts. And you know what? That's bad in and of itself, selling the parts. But really the issue is that we're even having parts to sell in the first place. Yeah, and that's the sad part about it. That could be even parts to sell in the first place.
Ben, that can be polarizing. Are you sure you like stepping into that realm? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think that we all have opinions, and we all should be able to respect each other. And I think that's kind of what I'm addressing in the book, is the fact that, you know what, we have different opinions about certain things. And, you may totally disagree with me for what I said, but, let's talk about it. You hear my side, I hear your side. And in the end, we may disagree, or in the end, one of us may change.
Yeah.
But I think that there is it's sad in America where we can't express our opinions thoughtfully and respectfully on these issues, like abortion, like race, like same-sex marriage, whatever it is, these things that have been coming up lately in the news. as an athlete, a lot of times people say, "What? Keep playing football." But you know what? Playing football is my job, and that's what I love to do.
Yeah.
I'm a citizen of the United States. I'm a father. I'm a husband like everybody else, and I feel like I should be able to state my opinion like everybody
Yeah,
else should.
well said. And you shouldn't be met with vitriol and anger and hate and everything else that comes with it. Ben, I really appreciate
Amen.
talking to you, man. It's a pleasure. And you're an athlete, obviously, but also a scholar. So I appreciate you joining us here on Tiki and Tierney this morning.
You too, man. Hey, thanks for having me, man.